The night settles slowly over Pembrey Forest. It does not arrive all at once. It moves between the trees first, pulling in low ground, resting along the edges of paths that once knew heavy use. The air cools, the sea nearby breathes steadily, and the forest begins to feel wider than it did in daylight. If you listen closely, you may notice something. Pembrey Forest does not feel abandoned. It feels left behind. Before history begins to speak, before memory gathers weight, let the pace slow. Imagine a forest planted with intention. Imagine trees that grew not for beauty but for industry. Imagine the sound of machines once cutting through this quiet and then stopping. Pembrey Forest remembers both. Pembrey Forest is not ancient woodland in the usual sense. Much of it was planted in the early 20th century, part of a planned landscape tied closely to industry and war. Beneath the trees lies a history far louder than the forest allows today. During the First and Second World Wars, this area was home to one of the largest munition factories in Britain. Thousands of men and women worked here, producing explosives and ammunition around the clock. The forest was never meant to be peaceful. It was meant to conceal. At its height, the Royal Ordnance Factory at Pembrey employed more than 6,000 workers. Tracks ran through the land, buildings stood where trees now grow. Sirens marked shifts. Accidents were not uncommon, and explosions occurred. People died, sometimes quietly, sometimes without witnesses. When the wars ended, the factory was dismantled, the land was replanted, and the noise was buried. But not everything leaves when the structures are removed. Forests grow slowly. This one did not. Rows of trees replaced concrete and steel in a single generation. Paths formed where rail lines once lay. What had been a place of urgency was asked to become a place of leisure. Families came, and walkers followed trails. Children played beneath trees rooted in disturbed ground. Most noticed nothing. Some noticed unease. The most enduring figure associated with Pembrey Forest is known simply as the Woman in White. She is not seen often and never seen clearly. Walkers describe a pale figure moving between trees at dusk, always at a distance, never approaching. She does not call out, she does not turn when noticed. She simply passes through. Some believe she is connected to the munitions workers, a woman who died here during the war years. Others say she predates the factory entirely. No one agrees, but many agree on how she feels. Not frightening, just sad. Pembrey Forest is known for sound that has no clear origin. Footsteps are heard on empty paths, voices carried briefly, then cut short. The faint metallic echo of something struck far away. These sounds do not repeat on command. They often occur unexpectedly, often when the forest is quietest. Most people dismiss them. Those who stay longer do not. At the forest's edge lies Kevin Sidden, one of the longest beaches in Wales. The transition from forest to open sand is abrupt. Trees stop. Wind takes over. The sea stretches wide and indifferent. Some say this boundary matters. They speak of the forest feeling reluctant to let go, as though it expects you to turn back. Others report feeling watched until they reach the shoreline, where the sensation lifts suddenly, as if the forest does not follow. After dark, Pembrey Forest changes character. Paths feel narrower, distances stretch, and sounds carry poorly. Torches often seem insufficient, their beams swallowed by the tree trunks and uneven ground. Some walkers report lights flickering without explanation, not falling, just dimming and brightening without pattern. Phones lose signal, and time feels unreliable. There are those who believe the forest is not haunted by individuals, but by routine, that what remains is the echo of repetition. Shifts starting, tasks repeated, footsteps moving with purpose. They say the forest feels busiest when it's empty, as though something is still working. Explosives were tested here, stored here, and destroyed here. The ground absorbed shock and fire. And while the forest appears calm, the soil below has been altered permanently. Some visitors describe an unease they cannot place, a heaviness that settles suddenly, then fades once they leave the trees. Not fear, but pressure. Pembrey Forest was not shaped by myth. It was shaped by necessity. And places shaped by necessity often struggle to become something else. Perhaps what lingers here is not a spirit. Perhaps it is interruption. Life's redirected, work abandoned, silence imposed too quickly. Even now, locals speak carefully about the forest at night. Some avoid certain paths entirely. Some refuse to walk alone after dusk. Others say they feel calmer here than anywhere else, as though the forest recognizes familiarity. Experiences vary. The feeling does not. No single story explains Pembrey Forest. There is no final account and no confirmed apparition, only patterns. Movement without source, figures without detail. A forest that seems to notice when you notice it. And when the night settles fully, when the sea wind quiets and the trees stand motionless, it can feel as though the forest is holding something carefully, not to frighten you, but to remember what was never meant to last.